Hey guys, I'm Otto from Everything Amiibo, here with a detailed look at the 6 runes we've seen so far, and a mysterious 7th rune. Amiibo! Along with the usual items we'd expect in a Zelda game, Breath of the Wild is adding runes. They're basically apps on his Sheikah slate that let you do awesome stuff in the real world, like have magnetic powers, free stuff in time, and even infinite bombs. There are 6 runes to be found around the Great Plateau, and since they always appear in your inventory in the exact same order, no matter what order you actually acquire them, let's go ahead and go through them left to right. So at first glance, the remote round bomb looks like your classic Zelda bomb, but there's actually quite a number of differences. First of all, it's remotely detonated. You can press the L button to remotely detonate your bomb at any time you like, and there's not even a timer for it to auto-detonate as far as we know. It's not super powerful versus enemies, but it's a great distraction or destruction tool. And because of its round shape, it'll roll down hills and through holes and stuff like that. And like I said, you have an infinite supply. You just have to wait for a little bit of a cooldown every time you use one of the bombs. Although it's kind of the same, an entirely new slot is given to the remote cube bomb. This has basically everything I just mentioned about the remote round bomb applied to it, except it's a cube, which means when you throw it down it won't roll as much or at all, depending if you just place it. So it can be used as a sort of mine to trap opponents, well, like C4 in a stealth game or something. It can also be tossed long distances more accurately because wherever it lands, that's where it's just gonna stay. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much the same as the round bomb. It's also acquired at the same time in the same trial as the round bomb, so don't worry about trying to get both. Now for something completely new, Magnesis is the next rune, and it allows you to pick up and throw around any metal objects. This lends itself to so many uses, like whacking enemies with a giant boulder, picking up treasure from the ocean floor and bringing it to the shore so you can open it, and rearranging stuff so you can get around. The interface when you activate it is really cool, and it highlights any metal objects that you'd be able to pick up. I'm certainly looking forward to using this one. So here's one no one could have ever predicted. You can freeze objects in time and build up power to have one powerful strike hit them when time resumes. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing. You can also freeze objects just generally so that you can, say, get across a moving plank that might fall down otherwise, or freeze a boulder before it hits you so you can get past a certain path. Stasis is currently the most mysterious rune so far because we haven't really seen it used outside of its trial besides on a boulder. So we know it works on boulders and planks and certain cogs and stuff, but who knows what applications it'll have out in the wild open world. Maybe you can even freeze enemies and mash them for a ton of damage and then unfreeze and just see them go flying and die instantly. That would be awesome. So here's the rune that features in the thumbnail for this video and in the trailer for Zelda, and that's because it looks so cool. The interface for this is awesome. You deploy it and any body of water turns completely bright blue, and you can make a platform of ice just rise up out of it. It looks super futuristic and awesome. With these, you can traverse certain areas that you might not normally be able to, get higher than you would be able to, and of course there are other applications that are a little bit complicated and specific to certain puzzles. Let's skip this slot for now. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's an Amiibo rune. It lets you scan in certain Amiibo and use their abilities. With that out of the way, let's go over what Amiibo functionality we actually know. So far, all we know is the Wolf-Link Amiibo from the Twilight Princess bundle will summon Wolf-Link as a partner character. And the way the Treehouse staff worded it made it sound like there will be multiple partner characters in the game, and so I'm going to assume those will mainly come from Amiibo. You can check out my video about the Amiibo functionality in Breath of the Wild for more details on that. So far, we don't know the Amiibo functionality of the other 3 Amiibo, and we also don't know how many will actually work. I'm guessing more than just these 4 will be compatible. Alright, so these are all the runes that they talked about, and the only ones available in the Great Plateau demo. But no matter how much progress you've made or what order you get them in, these runes always fall into their own specific slot, and there's always 7 slots. So apart from this, the common assumption is that we're going to see a lot more runes, and they've kind of implied that, but nobody's really confirmed it. The 7th slot, though, confirms that we'll see at least 1 more rune. Here's a couple theories on what form that could take. Firstly, it might not be an altogether new rune. We've already seen the bombs take up 2 slots, so it could be an extension to the Cryonis or Amiibo runes that they just don't want us to see yet. The 7th rune could simply be another rune that's not within the Great Plateau but is reasonably close by, and maybe when you unlock another area you get a whole nother strip of rune slots to fill in with the trials. Though there are 2 things that seem to disagree with this. We've already heard that the Great Plateau is 1% of the game's total area, completion, whatever. It's a small amount of the game. So we're going to have 6 runes for 1%, then we're going to have 600 runes? I don't think that's happening. Another contradiction is that in the Treehouse stream they went to a special trial that was way off of the Great Plateau and used multiple runes, but it only used the runes we'd already seen. Maybe they just purposely chose a trial that only used the ones we've seen so far, or maybe we are going to be pretty limited on what we can use and we just have to combine them in creative ways. Now here's the theory on something that might be one of the runes, and maybe this mysterious 7th one. You know that awesome electronic arrow that we first saw in the initial reveal for Breath of the Wild before we even knew its name? Well, we see it again in the real trailer, and it looks to use the same technology as all the runes and Sheikah slates and all that. And I think it would make perfect sense as a rune, a super powerful finisher arrow that can only be used after a long recharge. It would be great for solving certain puzzles that require energy rather than blunt force, and of course as the ultimate finisher for taking down those pesky guardians. Whatever's the case, these runes are going to be a whole lot of fun, and I'm super excited to get into them when Breath of the Wild comes out next year in March. That's it from this video. If you enjoyed it or found it informative, make sure you leave a like, and of course subscribe to Everything Amiibo for so much more on Breath of the Wild and for more Nintendo toys and games. I'll see you guys later.